In a world of fake news, we bring you up-to-the-minute factual inaccuracy and a heavy dose of moral truth. With your hosts, Kyle Mann and Ethan Nicole. This is the Babylon Bee. Fake news you can trust.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Babylon Bee podcast with your hosts, Kyle Mann. And who's that?
Oh, hey, it's me, Ethan Nicole, Kyle's sidekick.
He is the, what's the guy on DuckTales? Oh, no, not
Launchpad McQuack.
Launchpad and the other guy.
Scrooge McDuck.
It was, I'm messing this. Tailspin, that's what I'm thinking of.
Baloo the Bear.
Yeah, something like that.
Wait, am I the little kid and you're Baloo the Bear? That doesn't make sense.
Wasn't there I thought they had like that car and then there was the side. Oh, maybe I'm thinking of Darkwing Duck. I'm getting all the duck things mixed up.
You're getting the whole
right
Disney afternoon mixed up.
The whole Disney afternoon is just this swirling mess of characters in my head.
Disney salad. Well, we are here. We survived, though it's rough. So Dan, our producer, who runs the board back there to make sure everything happens, he's currently crawling across the floor like the horse from Ren and Stimpy. I can't feel my legs.
For the
like that.
homeschoolers, Ren and Stimpy was a cartoon that aired on Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
Back in the day, and I was not allowed to watch it, so I don't know what you're talking about.
It was one of my favorites. Very influential on me. And yeah, there's a lot of fart humor. So that's satanic. Or at least it was in the 90s. So Dan his back is hurting. He hurt his back very badly on our Florida trip that we took. Apparently he was just in the swimming pool and he kind of just twisted weird. And I guess he's not good at swimming, and I think he's just in like a hot tub. So, but he's on the floor. He's still editing on a laptop. I guess he's kind of like laying like this and like. But so we got not Dan. We got Matt filling in.
He's got a stick and his computer's up here, and he's like reaching up and tapping on the.
He's got like a.
You see the hands coming.
He holds up the mirror to be able to see the screen.
Well, pray for Dan because his back is really hurting. So we'd like to see him come back soon. But yeah, our buddy Matt McDavid is filling in for him today. So thank you, Matt.
Yeah, Matt McDavid, if you want to thank him for making this happen, if you live in the Inland Empire, go check out Purple Easel. If you want to have a little painting date night, though you can't with COVID, but you can do online stuff. You can actually pick up your paints and do a little painting at home with a little class. And he also has Culebra Cigar Shop, which is the best cigar shop that I've ever been to. Yeah.
So check that out if you want to thank Matt for helping us out today.
Yeah. What else we got to talk about here before we start the actual show?
Well, I did want to mention that our Babylon Bee Best of book, The Sacred Texts of the Babylon Bee, is coming out soon. We don't know when, but we're thinking late summer.
We just got our proofs, yeah.
Get the proofs, a couple of small corrections, and bam, it's getting printed.
Yeah, there was some hang-ups and stuff, but yeah, that's coming. So watch for that. You can pre-order it on our website right now, which might lock you in at a lower price. It'll definitely put you in front of the line, because what we might do is release it to those people first, and then it could get an official release later. So if you really want to get it as soon as possible, go to our store and pre-order it.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's got hundreds of stories, redone photoshops, just new format, a lot of new content like funny sidebars and quotes and images and all of that. So
yeah,
pretty freaking
it's a pretty book.
Ethan blew his brains out working on it for the last, I don't know, gosh, we've been working on it for almost a year now, right?
Yeah, I think I put a solid 6 to 8 months into actually constructing the whole thing, and then we've been going through this whole. I've spent a ton of time on the cover. The cover is going to be very Bible-y looking,
very biblical,
very biblical looking.
It will look nicer than any Bible that you own,
guarantee,
and that's a guarantee.
A guarantee from us
to you. So anyway, check that out. Shop.babylonbee.com.
It's going to be good, but you know what else is going to be good? Stuff that's good.
But now, this week's edition of Stuff That's Good.
Kyle, what's good?
That was the glass breaking.
Oh.
Well, first I wanted to...
It'll do it.
Oh, is that how it is?
Yeah.
But we don't always hear the sound effects.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like...
We had them in post now, so we have to pretend we just experienced that.
I don't feel like we're
explosion.
in the stuff that's good. So stuff that's good is where we talk about stuff that's good. And so I wanted to first give a stuff that's good update.
Okay.
That we were on the big finale of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Me and my kids.
Thrilling.
And it's like, it's become this great like father and son thing. Because every day they're like, Dad, are we going to watch an episode of Avatar today? Just something that you know is clean and you know it's pretty good. There's a little like Eastern mysticism in there and the chakras. There's all the chakras. A lot of people talk about chakras for an episode or two. But, you know, so you got to be aware of that. But I don't know if I'm emotionally prepared for the end. Because it's that good. It's a great story arc, great characters, funny.
Well, you still got the movie? Animation. Yeah, there's 2 movies.
But the movie was horrible, is my understanding. The M. Night Shyamalan.
Then you watch the James Cameron one.
That's not.
Which isn't related exactly, but it still has the word.
That's not.
Yeah.
All right, and then what I wanted to talk about today is I actually just finished reading Journey to the Center of the Earth by H.G. Wells. Or not H.G.
really?
Wells,
I've always wanted
by
to read
Jules
that.
Verne, my bad. And it's awesome. It's just, I love
Did you read it to your kids or just you read it?
I just read it. I love pulpy.
Would it be worth reading to your kids or is it too hard? Because
No.
I was thinking about I bought it, but I haven't.
They would get it, yeah. It's just the classic story. Like, I hate how all the stories now have to have like all the symbolism and meaning. And,
Yeah.
you know, it's like, yeah, we're going to dig to the middle of the earth and see what's in there. That's the story. That's the whole story.
Huh.
So it's pretty cool. Journey to the Center of the Earth and all that cool pulpy stuff. I'll probably do 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea next. So.
Sweet.
What you got?
So my recommendation comes with the warning that this is a movie that's R-rated, but this is for my action movie fans. This movie went under the radar a bit. It came out a few years ago, but as a fan of like a good, simple 90s style action movie, where it's just a guy with a problem. He's got some dudes he's got to kill because he loves somebody. Like those are the best ones. Like The Matrix ruined action movies because suddenly it became ballet with guns. And it was Matrix was awesome when it came out, but then like every action movie has tried to be there ever since.
Well, and it had the deeper meanings and the symbols.
Yeah,
and
it's
that's kind
got
of what I was saying about the book, is I like that. It's just
the simple story. That's why I think that's why Taken did so well. It's just like
totally.
People, especially dudes, but even my wife liked Taken. Just that simple story.
My
You
wife
mess
did
with
too,
my
yeah.
daughter, I will mess you up. A guy can get behind that. Most parents can get behind that, right? So this movie, Bloodfather, it's Mel Gibson. Think what you want about him. He makes excellent movies, but most of his movies are under the radar now. And this was a lower budget movie, but it's a nice, simple movie. His daughter is this, I think she's like 19, 20. She's got mixed up with some drug cartel boyfriend and they want to kill her. She tracks him down and he's this kind of washed out tattoo artist guy that lives in a trailer. And he's just defending her from these psycho drug dealer guys. And it's just a nice, simple, just like action movie. And so highly recommend it because it's hard to find those, because there's tons of action movies that look like they're that, but they're horrible. This is a legitimately good one, but a lot of violence. But I don't think there's any sex or nudity in it that I can remember. It's just a lot of violence, a lot of bad words.
Yeah, I love movies like that. We just watched the Equalizer movies.
Yeah, The Equalizer is great. The second one, but this first one was great.
I think Denzel Washington has made that same movie about a dozen times.
Yeah.
Like something
They're
gets
almost
kidnapped
always
and he
good.
goes and kills everybody. And
Well, I love Equalizer because it's got that great theme of he's defending that prostitute's honor, you know.
yeah.
If you like that movie, there's another movie called it's called Marintao. It's a Philippines movie, I think. Oh no, it's not Philippines. Indonesia. It's the guys that made oh man, now we're going off here.
Avatar.
No, what were the big action movies? The Raid movies, the amazing action movies. You haven't seen The Raid. The Raid's amazing, super violent. But
Have you just recommended like 4 movies?
Yeah, I just recommend like it's kung fu. But this guy, he shows up in the city for the first time ever. He's from some small farm and he's a kung fu master. He just sees some girl who's a prostitute getting messed with by these guys, and he's like, well, I can't let that happen. So he just starts beating him up. And it just goes for the whole movie. He goes through the entire syndicate just because he stepped in. And it just like he just goes through and takes out everybody.
I think we like these movies because we feel like we could be that person.
We would want to be, but
in a slightly different circumstance.
Yeah.
Like in the Equalizer movies, he's just kind of this chill guy. I think he had some military past or something, but he's just like, oh, I'm just doing crossword puzzles. Oh, yeah. Boom, boom, boom.
Yep.
You know, we all put it. Like, I would totally do that
yeah.
if I was like stronger and braver.
Yeah, if I get some karate lessons.
And I was less of a wimp.
Yeah.
That would be me. All right, check out our stuff that's good.
This has been Stuff That's Good.
This news is weird.
Weird news.
Oh, I forgot to say, you're a blood father.
Thank
That's
you.
all I could think about every time.
That's important.
When I read this notes, it said blood father.
Bloodfather.
Dog left looking like alpaca after biting pet groomer halfway through haircut. I read these headlines very robotically because they seem so random. Like someone
They're
just
very
pasted random words in there.
I think they get them from
Looking
Reddit
like
or something.
Alpaca.
Yeah, just basically the dog's entirely shaved except it has a giant puff of hair on its head is unshaved because apparently when it got there, it kept biting the lady.
Okay, so then the groomer stopped doing the haircut and
Just couldn't do it.
left
It kept biting her, and she's like, I can't. Like, maybe you can come in next week. I guess apparently they thought the dog was scared of her mask or COVID mask or something.
When Gavin Newsom announced all randomly, like, everything closes again. I wonder if there were people that were halfway done.
Yeah, they went home looking at
getting their haircut.
alpaca.
Yep, sorry.
Yep.
Governor just tweeted.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I when I was a kid, my grandpa used to give us military haircuts for summer. So we all come and we'd sit in the chair out front and he'd like, come here, and shave our head. But the day that he was supposed to do our military haircuts, I was sitting on like the railing of our staircase that goes up into the house, and my dad opened the door and the door hit me. I was 7. I fell backwards, so I held on, but I went upside down and my head got stuck between the bars that hold up the railing. So my head's stuck, I'm upside down, I'm flailing with my legs in the air. My dad can't get me out because my head's stuck, so he has to actually like, boom, and like knock me out there. There's kind of that wrought iron metal bars, so knocks me out of there. And so I have 2 perfect bumps on each side of my head, kind of like teddy bear ears, like right on top of my head. So my grandpa goes to shave my head, and every time he hits those knobs, I start screaming and crying. So he just doesn't touch them, figuring they'll get them later. So for a couple of days, I had just these 2 puffs of hair on my head, and I look like a little teddy bear.
It was as a bump like Wile E. Coyote gets. Like,
yeah. You know how you get a bump and it's like really owie spot? An owie bump?
Spot.
Yeah.
That's the medical term.
Mm-hmm. Anyway. A shopper spotted using paper bag as face covering, and others have used knickers. I just love the word knickers.
So have you used anything weird for a mask so far?
Have you used knickers?
I haven't used knickers. I did once realize I had to go into a store, didn't have the mask, grabbed my hoodie, and I just tied my hoodie around my face.
Okay.
It was my MXPX hoodie. I had this giant MXPX logo like hanging in front of my entire chestal region and walking around the store.
I wonder if you could do pantyhose like robbers.
Like a robber?
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't filter out. Not that they do anyway.
The threads seem closer together than t-shirt fabric, which is what a lot of people are using. Dan, who's on the floor in pain, he just like ripped up a t-shirt and then like created these little strips on it, and he ties it around the back of his head, and it's kind of like this hanging torn cloth, and he has like a Ninja Turtle thing going on in the back, and he looks like something out of like I don't know,
Ninja
The Road, a Cormac McCarthy novel.
Oh man.
It's hilarious to me.
Well, this is the new normal. Family found man declared dead, still alive, after breaking into hospital morgue.
Yeah, so apparently, this one's actually worth reading the text of, because the family did not believe them, the doctors, when they said that he died. So they're like, we don't believe you, we're going to break in.
Wait, so the doctor said he's dead?
So the family of a man declared dead broke into a morgue in disbelief, only to find, it skipped. Oh no, there it is. Family of a man declared dead broke into a morgue. It's jumping around with these ads. The Colombian family found Juan Jose Munoz Romero, 67, awake with his eyes open after one of his daughters infiltrated the hospital. Doctors in the hospital in the city of Sincelejo in the Caribbean region of Sucre, Colombia, had declared Mr. Romero dead only hours earlier, but his family couldn't believe it and demanded to see him. Mr. Romero had been taken to the health clinic with sudden high blood pressure, according to reports. So they say he died just 2 hours after entering a hospital, but his relatives didn't trust the medics. His daughter, who has not been named in reports, they said she was not allowed to see her father's body because of coronavirus. However, she broke into the hospital morgue when the doctors were distracted, and they found him breathing and conscious inside. She told the doctors, and they still tried to convince her that he was actually dead and she was just seeing natural reactions when patients die. But she didn't buy it, and he was alive. He's alive now. Isn't that insane?
That's wild.
So that's like, you don't trust the doctors? What?
You don't trust...
Are you anti-science?
These guys seem to be anti-science.
Yeah, a little anti-science there, ninjing around our morgue.
This is literally the Monty Python sketch where in Holy Grail when they carry the dead guy out. And he says, I'm not dead. And they're like, oh, yeah, he's totally dead. And they throw him on the pile of dead bodies.
I wonder what gave it away when she's looking in the doctor's eyes, like Larry David, and he's like, "Your father is passed," and she's like, "Yeah, no,
Okay.
no,
Well, Larry David always accepts it, and he goes, okay.
yeah, okay, okay." Oh yeah, but he doesn't really believe it.
But he
Yeah,
doesn't
that's true.
believe it.
Yeah,
But then they break in later. That's how it works.
breaking later. It was my turn. Pizza shop owner thwarts robbery by tossing pie at suspect. What do you mean pizza pie?
Have you ever called a pizza a pie? I've never called a pizza
No,
pie.
this feels very New Yorkish.
That must be a New York thing.
Yeah. But apparently this guy had a machete. The owner told troopers that a man with a machete approached him demanding money. He said he told him he didn't have any, and he threw a pizza at him, causing the machete-wielding man to flee in a car. I'm amazed that he didn't... Well, if you've ever seen Ninja Turtles, you throw a pizza at a guy with a machete, they cut it up in the air, and then all the pieces of pizza land on the plates.
This is true.
If he knows how to use it. He doesn't,
Science.
Clearly he doesn't know how to use it. That's why he ran when he got hit.
If you don't believe that's what would happen, then you're anti-science. Do you have any stories about getting hit in the face with a pizza, Ethan?
When I worked at a buffet restaurant, we used to throw food at each other. And it kind of escalated. So it'd be like a bun. You know, me and the cooks I'd be the dishwasher, you'd be the cooks, and we'd sneak attack each other. It got out of hand one night. If your pizza overcooks, you can't serve it on the line. So we had a pizza overcooked, which means it was all brown on top, which means the sauce is boiling inside. Like it's literally boiling and bubbling in there. So the cook comes out across the room and goes, "Ethan!" I turn around, he's got the giant paddle, or whatever they call it, that holds the pizza. He flings it at me, and I think he thought I'd dodge it. It directly hit me in the face.
It was hot.
And it was burning my face. So I had one of those high power sprayers that dishwashers use. I immediately just and sprayed my face off, and it hurt very bad. That's all I got.
So did you have like a perfect triangular
It was a full pizza.
burn? And
Big
then,
circle.
Yeah, but I'm thinking like maybe they come apart or something, and then you've got.
Oh, no, it's not cut. It wasn't cut.
Pepperoni.
Yeah. You know, there's just like a red kind of... Luckily, I had the sprayer in hand, so the moment I saw it coming, I was thinking when it was coming at me, I'm going to have to spray my face because this is going to burn me because that's boiling sauce in there. You're very familiar with the boiling sauce when you work with pizzas. Anyway, I worked at a pizza restaurant too.
Did you say "Mamma Mia"?
Oh no.
No, you don't just.
This wasn't a pizza. This was like a trucker buffet.
Oh, gotcha. Sealed copy of Super Mario Brothers auctioned for a record $114,000. Hey, this is like
it's video game news for you.
I need to read this.
It's apparently the highest price ever paid for a video game, unless I don't know if anybody's ever given their life, but as far as money goes.
Yeah, I know there was one game called Track and Field, I think, that was always the record for the most valuable video game, yeah.
That's a lame game to get that much money. Wow.
I don't know why.
Is
it Track and Field? Oh, maybe I'm wrong.
I don't think anything else interesting to say about that except that, oh, that's cool.
Well, I'm trying. Okay, so this is the original NES game. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the original from like 85. What's crazy when I think about Mario is that I remember when it came out and how far games have come in our lifetime is insane. Technology-wise.
Well, and actually, if you go back and play Super Mario Brothers, what's amazing is how good of a game it is.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Because if you play other games from that era, they're all horrible. They're all terrible. You know, we always think, oh, back in the 1980s, the games were great. No, they were awful. You remember Super Mario Brothers because it was the only one that was fun.
Yeah.
Like at the time.
My dad mastered Mario Brothers to where his morning devotional was he would recite entire books of the Bible by memory. So he would just be speaking Philippians from memory, the entire book, and then he would play Mario Brothers and he would beat it multiple times without mushrooms. So he could just be a little Mario and defeat the entire game that way multiple times through.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, that's this thing. Mysterious vampire slaying kit, including pistol and knife, up for auction. So this is just kind of cool. This thing has a pocket-sized pistol, a 19th century copy of the New Testament, pliers, rosary, a bottle of shark's teeth, an ivory-robed wolf carrying rosary beads, a blue phial with mysterious contents, a silver-bladed pocket knife. Inside the lid is an oval enamel painting that depicts the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Origin unknown. So that's up for auction. He's got some money, wants to buy that vampire slaying kit.
So was it supposed to be old? Is that why?
Yeah, it's old.
Oh, I see.
Then nobody knows where it came from. It's probably just a joke thing, but it's still cool. But it's old.
The game I was thinking of was Stadium Events, not track and field, and it's worth $25,000.
That's nothing.
Yeah, nothing compared to that sealed copy of Mario Brothers. So we're gonna buy this Vampire Slink yet, or what?
If you guys want to,
So
Seth maybe could. CEO.
It'd be nice for our new office.
Yeah, and
to have behind everything.
It's got religious stuff. 19th century New Testament. I guess you don't need the Old Testament to fight vampires, just the New Testament.
It's valued at up to £3,000.
I don't know what that translates to.
Why would you just? I mean, that's a heavy amount of money.
Seems like a lot. Yeah.
It's like 1.5 tons of money.
Yeah.
1.5 tons. Okay, well, let's move on to stories of the week.
Let's do it.
Every week, there are stories. These are some of them.
Well, here's an interesting story. A local progressive was very careful to only advocate for the most progressive politics and be an activist for all the popular new social justice causes. So, since he was so clearly on the right side of history, he was very surprised to find that after he died, he still went to hell.
Crazy.
It's the right side of history, but
Still in hell.
seems messed up.
Yeah, it seems like that would be a catch-all. If you're on the right side of history, then you're good to go.
Yeah, the right side would mean heaven.
Yeah.
Stamp.
I always try to figure out what that means. You're on the right side of history.
It's a
That
bizarre-
implies
there's a
that
lot to pick apart there.
Yeah.
It implies an objective moral standard.
Right.
And the people who say that don't typically subscribe to some kind of objective moral standard.
Right.
Or at least wouldn't say that it comes from God or the Bible or something like
Yeah.
that.
There's a great Jonah Goldberg wrote a book called The Tyranny of Cliches, and he takes all these cliches that are lobbed at people. It was actually a book that didn't sell very well, so I recommend it. But there was a chapter on this saying. He does chapters on all the different sayings. So this is from an essay that he wrote. In domestic politics, people, mostly liberals, tend to say, "You're on the wrong side of history," about social issues that are breaking their way. It's a handy phrase, loosely translated as, "You're going to lose eventually, so why don't you give up now?" Philosophically, the expression is abhorrent because of its Marxist twang, to borrow historian Robert Conquest's phrase. The idea that history moves in a predetermined, inexorable path amounts to a kind of hallmark card of Hegelianism. Marx, who ripped off a lot of his shtick from the philosopher Hegel, popularized the idea that opposition to the inevitability of socialism was anti-intellectual and anti-scientific. The progression of history is scientifically knowable, quoth the Marxist, and so we need not listen to those who object to our program. Later, Lenin, Stalin, Mao, and others would use this reasoning to justify murdering millions of inconvenient people. It was a God is on our side argument minus God.
I like that last part.
The last line, because you hear you're on the wrong side of God is what the kind of hardcore fundamentalists would say. You just take God out and you're on the wrong side of history, because what is history? History is whatever we're going to do or did.
It's a strange mix of objective morality and totally subjective.
Whose history are we talking about?
Like whatever happens, whoever wins writes the history and says, you were on the wrong side of it.
Yep.
And it's like, well, duh. I mean, isn't that how it works? I also find it really short-sighted, really myopic of saying if you go against the cultural trends of the last 50 years or the last 25 years, you're on the wrong side of history, bub.
Yeah.
Let's look a little farther back. Let's look 2,000 years back. Let's look to all the way to creation 6,000 years ago.
This is an excellent article. I think there's some great dialogue in here. You can read it?
Oh, yeah, I am going to read it.
You said you were going to read it.
Oh, yeah, but you were talking about Goldberg, so I was confused.
Oh.
Yeah, the Babylon Bee article. Man on right side of history, surprised to find he still went to hell. Well, this can't be correct, he said, as he looked at the everlasting fire prepared for the devil and his angels. I did everything right. I was an activist for all the good causes, and I screamed at all the bad people online, and sometimes in person. I know, it's crazy, right? Said Satan.
I love Satan's.
You were on the right side of history. All the history books will say so. To the world, you're a really great guy.
I think you're Al Pacino.
I think I'm picturing him smoking.
Yeah, he's just sitting there.
So why am I here? He asked. Does that God guy know how this is going to make him look? Yeah, well, he really doesn't follow or care about politics, Satan explained. Well, that's wrong, Olson said. There are a lot of important issues out there, more important than all that Bible stuff God focuses on. Yeah, you're preaching to the choir, dude, Satan answered. Know what I'm going to do? He said. I'm going to start a protest. Satan nodded. Sure, you do that. Is there any place to get poster board around here? No. That's it. That's the article.
I love that Satan would completely agree. Like, yeah, he's not into politics. What a jerk.
Yeah,
so out of touch.
Preaching to the choir, bro.
Yeah.
I'm on your side, man.
Yep. All right, next story. Local lunch money thief and wedgie specialist Biff O'Doyle wrote in a recent op-ed that bully culture is not real. Quote, "It's just my fist free market response to your stupid face, dweeb." End quote. So this was
It sounds like you had a lot of bottled up bullying issues from your past. That
Did you ever get bullied?
Through.
You ever get bullied, Kyle?
There was a period in like 5th grade where there was a small group of like jerks that decided they were going to pick on me. And they never really did anything. It was just like, hey, you know, you're a nerd. Mm-hmm. And then one time they said, we're going to jump you, man. We're going to jump you.
We're going to jump you.
You know, it was always like, what is that? Like
taking on a different meaning, I think.
Is it?
I don't know.
There's
two meanings.
I thought it meant like sneaking up on you and then like beating you up, right?
Yeah,
jump. Kind of
I got jumped.
And so then I remember after school one day, they were all, there he is, get him. But I was just like standing in where all the kids are, and they're like, and they run up and they grab my backpack and they're like, ah.
That's it?
And then they just like,
did they find anything good in there?
Nerd. No, they didn't even take my backpack. They just like pulled it and they're like, okay.
So they didn't like force you to eat dog poop or something?
And they're like, okay, well, nerd. And they walked away. That was it. That was all the bullying.
When I was 5, I had a bully named Butterworth. Literally
is his real name?
Yeah, his teachers. His mom was a teacher at the school, and her name was Mrs. Butterworth, which is one of the syrups that is not problematic, apparently. But he just threw rocks at me. So I remember it's like in the playground, and I felt something hit me in the head, and I turned and looked, and then all of a sudden I saw there's Butterworth, and then another rock hits me in the head, and I fall over. And then he just threw another one at me and walked away.
Are we going to gloss over the Butterworth name?
I just love, was
that his first name?
It's perfect. His last name is Butter. All I knew is because I didn't know who he was. I didn't remember. Because I was in kindergarten. He was a lot older than me. He's huge to me. To me, he looked like an adult. He's probably like 10 or 8 or something. I just remember my mom pointing him out one day and saying, that's Mrs. Butterworth's son. Isn't that funny? The syrup. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that there's a syrup. I'm 5. I don't pay attention to syrup names. And later I was like, oh, that is pretty funny. Mrs. Butterworth. But I had another bully that called me Butterball on the bus, and then he punched me one time because I'm fat, so he called me Butterball, and he got the whole bus to like chant Butterball at me.
Butterball.
It was like something out of a bad sitcom or like a 90s.
Yeah, that's the thing about all the bullying scenes really that you see in shows.
Yeah.
It's just like, hey, nerd.
But they are.
And they
bullies
dump
are
them in the
bad
trash
cliches.
Can.
Yeah.
Like, so Charles M. Blow.
Mm-hmm. Funny last name, kind of like Butterworth.
Of the Maryland Blows. The Massachusetts Blows.
Is that a sports team?
No, I'm just like he's of the Blow family, the famous
Chuck Blow,
the famous Blow family from Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there is one.
The Blows,
but he basically wrote the same op-ed that we published.
Right,
in
it inspired this,
but with a few words swapped out. He said, "Once more, there is no such thing as cancel culture. There is free speech. You can say and do as you please, and others can choose never to deal with you, your company, or your products ever again. The rich and powerful are just upset that the masses can now organize their dissent. Furthermore, even if you're a public figure, you're still a person. You are still going to make mistakes like other people. You just have to take your knocks for it. Lord knows I have. But you can't complain. You did it. There are consequences for your actions. Learn and move on. People don't complain about the celebrity culture that allows them to amass wealth and influence, but they whine and moan about cancel culture that threatens to take it away. Do you people not see how craven and comforted this makes you look?" I don't know if he sounds like that.
I take issue with parts of that. I mean, most of it.
There's a lot to break down there.
Yeah. Well, for one thing, he makes it sound like this is just people freely choosing not to buy a product, and that's not what's happening in cancel culture. A lot of times, the people that are attacking the company and calling the bosses never shopped there in the first place. They saw this guy online. They don't like what he said, so then they call his bosses and want to destroy him. And also, like, because of how they voted or whatever, it's like, it's not a thing. He says down, oh, you messed up. You just got to make up for it. It's like, you have the freedom to vote how you want in this country. Like, that's not messing up.
Yeah, there's a few elements there, right? Because, it's not the customers of the company. It's someone who's never heard of the company before in their lives until they see some tweet and start calling. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing is, who's deciding what's right think and wrong think in this cancel culture system? Right. Because you saw that guy who got canceled for a paper he wrote in the late 80s where he was talking about women in combat roles. I think it was the guy who was an executive at Boeing.
Okay.
And he had written a paper back in the late 80s saying, questioning whether women should be in combat roles in the military, and he resigned and lost his job. Because it was like...
Those are the ones that are craziest. You can't question. Like, it's just...
Well, and we're still debating women in combat roles. It's still a legitimate discussion. Like, it's just... So it's not only is it people
That's not a mistake, yeah.
Not only is it consequences for people that are fairly inconsequential. We're not talking about celebrities here, right? Most of the time.
Yeah, most of them aren't.
Sometimes it happens.
Celebrities are usually cancel proof. That's the thing.
Yeah. Sometimes it happens with celebrities, but a lot of times it's the guy that works at freaking Walmart or something. And they think, everybody call this Walmart.
Yeah, they went viral. They were on a video, and now they're getting attacked. Yep.
So.
And this was inspired by, I just want to mention Philip on Twitter, who saw this. I retweeted and said, I can't remember what I said. I made some comment about Charles Blow's tweet here, and he replied and said, Ethan, you got to do a Babylon Bee article about how they say bullies are not really bullies. It's just a reaction to the acne on your face or whatever. So I told him I'm going to do it, and I told him I did it, and he loved it. So thanks, Philip. Great idea. I totally robbed you of it and wrote it, but he liked it.
What do you think about the argument that it's like, this is just the free market working? Because on the one hand, that's true, right? Like they're often not trying to get the government to do something. They're trying to get the market to respond, and they're trying to go to the crowds and say, look at how terrible this person is. Stop buying their products, or, your employer shouldn't employ you anymore. And so on the one sense, that's true. But on the other hand, like, just leave the legality out of it and think about the morality of trying to destroy someone's entire life by getting the whole crowd to turn against them.
Well, that's the weird thing about being an American is you don't share any blood or, any history. Like you join America, there's a set of ideas you're supposed to believe in. And one of those ideals is freedom of speech. And there's a huge chunk of people right now that don't agree with that. And so I think if you have those values, you don't, you let people speak their mind. I just going and trying to destroy their life, because that's what you're trying to do when you go to their work and make them this figure online that if their future jobs Google them, they're going to be destroyed forever. It's really sick. So I do think it comes from the shifting morals of the country. It's scary. I don't think they know what they're charging towards. I don't think they no, I don't know if they really want this. If it ever flips on them, which it always does, right? Yeah. One guy's head gets cut off down the road, that guy's head gets cut off, and then that's kind of like the French Revolution seemed to go.
Yeah, I guess I'm just thinking like this argument about the free market is interesting, because I don't think anybody's, like we talked about dystopian novels where it's the culture that turns against the idea of free speech before the government, and that's just as dangerous.
Oh yeah, totally.
So we're not saying like,
I think it'll happen first. Yeah, I don't think it's not the government.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I mean, I believe in capitalism, but I believe it in only with the addition of you have to have. As a Christian, I mean, God's law, truth, good and evil. I mean, a belief in what is good, what is bad. Like you have to have some sort of integrity that comes from somewhere else. It can't just be driven by money. If everything is driven purely by money, can be living a completely evil and vapid culture that is self-destruct.
Well, the PC police, as it were, have come for the Redskins. Washington Redskins. That's sad. I don't think I want to live in a country where we can't name our team the Redskins.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't care that much. But we at the Babylon Bee feel that the PC police did not go far enough. There's white supremacy and racism everywhere in the NFL. With every single... Rife.
I like using that word. Sorry, go ahead.
It's literally dripping.
Dripping, rife, with bulging.
Packed to the gills.
Yes.
With
oozing.
Literally, we've landed on it. Oozing with white supremacy and racism. Every single team in the league has some kind of offensive stereotype in their name. So we hereby call on every NFL team in the league to change their name for the following reasons.
I like the recommendation that the Redskins become the No Skins.
It's just be a guy that's...
And just be a guy who's completely flayed of all his skin. And you can't tell if he's black or white or any, he's just, we're all underneath. We're all a bunch of blood and meat.
That's the dream, isn't it?
Yeah.
Then all of us just cut our skin off one day.
He's running around with like little bits of like arteries shooting out, squirting blood everywhere. And he looks screaming in pain. It shows how human we all are.
That was the symbol of one of the houses in Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah?
The guy with his skin flayed off. So, flayed off?
It was? I don't know the word flay. I always think of flay as like a fish when you like...
Oh, it's fillet.
Fillet.
Flay, F-L-A-Y.
Flay is like, what's different?
No skin.
I figured they were related.
They're both fillet is a particular type of slicing or something. I don't know, like thin slicing.
No, but you know how to flay a fish. Is that fillet a fish or flay a fish?
Fillet.
Oh.
Fillet.
Different. What's flay mean?
It is a boneless cut or slice of meat or fish.
That's fillet.
That's fillet.
Okay.
And then flay
You should have done this before the show.
is to peel the skin off a corpse
A corpse. Ooh.
or carcass.
Okay. Flay. Peel it off the
Flay.
flay.
I wonder how those words ended up
So Bobby
sounding
Flay, that's his name? Oh.
rough.
My name is Bobby. Peel the skin off a corpse. So, I don't know. You want to read some of these? Arizona Cardinals, too religious. Oof.
Atlanta Falcons celebrates one of the cheapest Smash Brothers characters.
Baltimore Ravens, named after the Disney Channel show That's So Raven without the POC, person of color protagonist permission.
Buffalo Bills. This one's obvious. Bills are an evil byproduct of capitalism.
Dollar bills.
No bills in socialist
Right, and
society.
buffaloes are meat. We don't want meat.
No meat.
Carolina Panthers. The panther was appropriated wholesale from Wakandan culture.
That's true. Chicago Bears. Murderous bears should never be celebrated.
Right. Cincinnati Bengals. Just sounds racist. We're looking into it.
Cleveland Browns. Brown? Are you talking about skin color
what?
again?
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Whoa.
Brown? What?
This sounds like white fragility to me.
Dallas Cowboys. Whoa. A mutant half boy, half cow is tragic. Shouldn't be used as a mascot. We're talking hamburgers. We're talking meat eating. We're talking male masculinity. There's a lot of things wrong with a cowboy.
We just think somewhere out there's a kid who's like a mutant and he's like somehow just was born with this deformity and looks like a cow. And
he's got udders.
And everyone teased him his whole childhood. Cowboy, you're a cowboy.
And he's like, you guys want some milk?
And then every time
get out of here.
Every time he goes to Walmart and he sees the cowboy jerseys hanging up at the front, he's like, he just
Do you think when he has cereal, he just kind of milks it himself?
Denver Broncos. Horses have been subjugated and enslaved for millennia.
Detroit Lions. Lions are not vegans.
That's a good point. Green Bay Packers glorifies the butcher as meat packers, and then meat causes global warming. You got to go a couple steps through this one, but
yeah,
the problematic stuff is still there.
It could be the Green Bay Impossible Meat Packers.
Oh, yeah, that's Beyond Meat Packers.
Beyond Meat. Houston Texans. That's real? Texans? I don't know sports. Celebrates the most racist state in the union.
Indianapolis Colts. Obviously, the name glorifies guns.
Right. Jacksonville Jaguars. Jaguars are driven by evil rich billionaires as they run over poor people. Oh, the martini. Cell phone.
Kansas City Chiefs. That's obvious. I mean,
they got to change that.
So we suggest switching it to the Kansas City wise indigenous tribal elders.
Are they going to change that?
Or whites for short.
We got a friend who's a firefighter, and he said they're changing that in firefighting. They're not going to call them chiefs anymore.
Yeah, they're discussing calling them like.
So are they going to be the wise tribal elder?
Wise indigenous tribal elder. It's whites.
Oh, no.
It's
White. Got it.
White. Yeah, that's the joke.
Las Vegas Raiders. Celebrates the Raiders of the Lost Ark, which featured prominent Nazi imagery.
Los Angeles Chargers. We don't think anyone who's ever faced down a line of charging riot police would find this name even the least bit funny or clever.
That's a trigger word. Los Angeles Rams. Are we reading all these?
Yeah,
There's a lot. Okay, Dodge Rams contribute heavily to the climate crisis.
Miami Dolphins. It's a painful reminder that we live in a world where SeaWorld still exists. Yeah.
Minnesota Vikings. Associated with patriarchy-dominated Norse mythology.
New England Patriots.
Patriots. New Orleans Saints goes against the constitutional principle of separation of church and sports.
New York Giants. Giants prefer the term persons of height.
New York Jets. The burning of jet fuel contributes to global warming.
Philadelphia Eagles.
Climate change.
Eagles are a well-known Nazi symbol.
Absolutely.
USA Today revealed this to us
Yeah,
this week.
fact check. Eagle.
Fact check. True.
Nazi. True. Pittsburgh Steelers. Steel contributes to global warming.
San Francisco 49ers. I mean, this is an obvious one. The gold miner mascot harkens back to the days of Manifest Destiny and the destruction of Mother Earth.
So that just sounds like a derogatory term. You're just a 49er.
Or even niner, like niner.
Yeah.
Such a niner.
I don't know what 49ing is, but it doesn't sound good. Seattle Seahawks. Birds are unable to give consent to have their name used as mascots.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This one's actually okay because the Buccaneers were probably just stealing bread to feed their families.
Buccaneers. Oh, they're like pirates, right?
It's discriminatory to call them like criminals.
Buccaneer.
Yeah.
Tennessee Titans reinforces the harmful idea of power structures and male-dominated hierarchies.
And then the Washington Redskins. Nothing wrong with that one. I think that one's fine. That one can stay.
Yeah, it's color. That's weird. You can say people of color, but you can't say color plus skin, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I can never track all the terms.
Can't track it, right? You can say that skin has a color, but if you say a color...
Yeah, whoa. Whoa. Back up. You can say the color, but you have to capitalize it or something. I don't know. I can't keep track of everything.
It should be like people of some color that I can't distinguish.
It's like one of these shades.
Nope, don't even... No.
I mean, you could pull out the color wheel and like... In this
Am I
area.
getting warmer?
All right, well, we're going to move on to our topic of the week. We're going to discuss why Christian stuff is so bad.
And so good.
And bad.
And now, the Babylon Bees topic of the week.
All right, we published an article this week. If you like secular things, try these Christian alternatives that are almost as good. And this was kind of a throwback. This was like this was inspired by the time that I worked at the Family Christian store. And we actually had a poster that told kids, if you like Evanescence, try Barlow Girl. If you like...
Yeah, what, like...
if you like Limp Bizkit, try POD.
Yeah. Blink-182?
Yeah, MXPX.
MXPX, yeah.
Although they... kind of relationship with MXPX
Relient
is
K,
a little...
Relient K.
Yeah, MXPX would be a complicated relationship. Although they were better. MXPX is better than Relient K.
I disagree.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. Way better. Oh, man.
Well, I mean, yeah. Actual musicianship. Well, they're cheesy, though. There's some cheesy songs.
I can't stand Relient K. I can't stand the guy's voice is my problem.
Yeah, he's a little,
He's got that nasally thing going
a little
on.
nasally.
But that's punk.
I had a bit of a pop punk bug.
I like pop
I like
punk.
the harmonies.
I like it too. I'm just,
But I like, they're good. Anyway, but yeah, I haven't listened to them for forever. As a young Christian who could only listen to Christian music, which was a boundary I put on myself. My parents never really put that on me. Yeah, Relient K was good within that window.
When we were growing up, my brother was like the one who was almost like pushing the boundaries of like, can I buy this secular album? My parents would be like looking at it. I don't know. There's two dams on this album.
Can we say that?
I don't know. I'm like, it's in quotes, two
D words.
I'm talking about the Hoover Dam. There's two references to the Hoover Dam on this album. So there's two, bad words on this album. And they kind of talk about, okay, you're 14. I think you can handle this one. And I think I kind of went the other way, and I'm like, I must only buy Christian music. So like you, I was more self-restricted.
Yeah, I did it when I was like 19 or something. Like, I burned everything and started over.
Yeah.
I really bought into that. I thought that it was going to cleanse me.
I remember I got into some friend's car, and we turned on a radio. We were waiting for her. She ran to the house to get something, and she had secular music on all her stations. And I'm like, so I went and I changed them all to Air One. I changed all her presets to Air One. I was a weird
gotta
kid,
be a
man.
word for that. That's crazy. That's hilarious.
It's some kind of sociopathic impulse, I guess. I don't know.
You got like, it's like punked, but like the righteous version or something.
You're just you're sitting there waiting, and she presses number 3, and you're like, "Hey, wait a minute, Air One, you just got Jesus,
Jesus juke,
the old Jesus juke." I don't know. I don't know what it is that makes Christian stuff so bad, or why we always feel like we have to knock things off.
Yeah, I think it is like this combination of capitalism and Christianity, I think.
Yeah, like a consumeristic thing, right?
Because we like to create a
product.
Why you need this.
Yeah.
You are incomplete without this, which is built into Christianity already. So it's like, oh, there's Jesus, but you can also say, plus Jesus, you need this. And it creates this, and also it's really convenient because you're like, you got to burn all that and start over, buy all this that we make. and then I think people smell a rat in it. It's like, okay, it's preaching.
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah,
How many people go to art for preaching?
Yeah, right? I guess we don't see ourselves as Christians that are like, we're Christians that we're in a world, and the world has all this stuff, and we participate in it, and we can use discernment to say, this is something good, I should participate in, or this is something bad. But instead of doing that, we just like look at everything the world has, and we just copy it, and then we take it into our own little world and make it our own. We have bands too.
Yeah.
We have movies.
When I was in my rock band, I made a song called Mission to the Moon. It was about, did I tell this?
I don't think so.
There's actually a YouTube video of it. You can see it's fully animated. It took me a full month to animate. It's about a guy who these aliens come to him and they tell him that the Earth's going to end. And so they've created a new place to live on the moon for Earthlings to go and live. And, but it's his job to tell everybody. So then he wakes up in the morning, he like writes up plans for a rocket ship and just takes off for the moon by himself. And then when he gets to the moon, he sits up there in a little tower and he just yells at the Earth and tells everybody, but it's from the moon. And then he just watches the world explode. But that was kind of I was like 20 when I wrote it, I think. But my analogy was just that, we box ourselves in as Christians. We like to create a safe little moon paradise that we live on where everything's safe and Christian. And then like from inside that weird little world we've created, then we're kind of telling people, oh yeah, come join us. It's like,
yeah. Yeah, it's a marketing thing. You see, you guys have music? We have music. Mm-hmm. Check it out. It's almost as good.
Yeah. And it's a shortcut to righteousness, right? To just like, be like, oh yeah, I have Jesus approved music. So therefore I am good. It's kind of like the right side of history thing, right?
Yeah.
I'm on the right side of the CD aisle.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that there is some analogy, like when I was saying as a kid, I'd go and change everybody's presets to Christian music, or like, it is this weird judgy thing of like, hey, wait a minute, you listen to secular music? And we have to have that label on everything, secular, sacred, secular, sacred.
We like teams. We like labels.
Yeah, I mean...
Everybody does, it's just the Christian version.
Okay, yeah, that's true, because, when people buy a product, they're not buying the product, they're buying the identification with that brand.
Right.
This is something that marketing has looked into, and all the research looks into, is like someone buying a Pepsi is buying the fun of drinking a Pepsi. Mm-hmm. I'm not buying a Pepsi, I'm buying the choice of a new generation, or whatever, like whatever it makes you feel, if it's young or rich or successful, that's what you're buying. Yeah. So as a Christian, it's like I'm looking for ways to feel approved by God or something. I'm looking for approval, and I'm looking for that sanctification and the validation that I'm growing in my Christian faith, and so I can buy the product.
Yeah.
To validate my identity as a Christian, rather than just having the identity in Christ. And I would listen to a little secular music or whatever. It's not that big of a deal.
And we all want, not just Christians, we all want a very simple way to go, me good, they bad. Like, I see my teenager going through this right now. She's discovered the social justice stuff, and it conveniently makes her good, them bad. And if you try to like give her any alternate facts or anything, just to open her mind to it, she doesn't want to open up to it, because it's nice to be in that place where like, I have this stuff, I am part of this club, I am good, they are bad. The guy with the secular music is bad, I'm good. The guy that smokes is bad, the guy that doesn't smoke is good. Like, to have these bonus commandments. I think Charles Spurgeon said that when they was asked why he smokes. I don't add another commandment, there's already 10. There's no thou shalt not smoke commandment.
Actually. But yeah, no, and now that you're talking about it, I'm wondering if there's a connection to cancel culture where
totally.
You have trouble consuming media from someone who disagrees with you. And I like all the leftists that are suddenly discovering this, like, I might have to consume media from someone I disagree with. No, you're like, really? Yeah, welcome to the club.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, welcome.
Like, we've been doing that for decades. So, and we've learned to make peace with it. People are burning J.K. Rowling books or whatever.
Yeah.
People that have a Harry Potter tattoos getting them removed because she's a TERF or something. And she disagrees with me on this one minor thing, even though she's like entirely in my political camp.
Yeah.
And believes everything I believe. There's one little thing.
Yeah.
And there's this like intellectual purity that must be maintained. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they're buying. Yeah, it is that they are consuming to reinforce their identity and to identify with something. And it's like, oh, they disagree. I can't partake in that. That's how I felt growing up.
Yeah.
And this wasn't any fault in the part of my parents or my church. This is just me being a self-righteous little jerk. Like.
But is there a good side to it?
I think so. I mean, I wasn't exposed to a lot of terrible things that other people were exposed to, you know.
Well, and I think it inevitably it brought out artists that may not have been discovered in a secular market. I think there's artists like Five Iron Frenzy who I don't know if they would have. Who knows if they, you know, some of these smaller. A lot of the bands I like that were on Tooth and Nail. Like I've been listening to Stretch Armstrong again after a while. Craig's Brother, these small punk bands that were, you know, they never made it that big, but because of Tooth and Nail, they were on the map. They were in Christian bookstores and stuff, and so I mean, like there's good stuff that comes out. It's not, once again, this is what we're arguing against. Black and white. This is good. This is bad.
Yeah, there is a gray, and I think there is good that comes out of it. I was listening to Slick Shoes the other day. Their Wake Up Screaming album. It's just like, this is pretty good pop punk. Like it's as good as something that you hear in the
that guy was like 12, world. I think.
Was it? Yeah, he was pretty young.
Really
right?
nice. He was going to high school, like doing homework while he was touring.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and at its best, I mean, the Christian world produced these guys like Five Iron Frenzy that you feel like they weren't really happy being in the Christian space. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it wasn't like we're ashamed of our faith or, you know, it was just like, we want to make music.
You don't want to be a product.
You know, Five Iron Frenzy is singing about slaughtering of the Indians and stuff, you know, slaughtering of the Native Americans or whatever. They would sing about these topics and consumerism. I always
love a good old Indian slaughtering
I always love
song.
a good Indian slaughtering ska song. That's what really makes you want to skank. Them.
Can you call them Indians?
That's what I said. I changed it and I said Native Americans.
Okay.
So sorry, Reese Roper.
I think it's indigenous peoples now. I think they've changed it again.
Is it indigenous now? I don't know.
Because Americans.
But you have these guys. I mean, Switchfoot, I think, is like better than any secular band to me. Like,
well,
they absolutely
that's
are.
That's an extreme statement.
No, I mean, like they
to you.
They make music. They make art that's like. I mean, they're top 5 band for me.
Okay,
top 5. Switchfoot.
I'll let you have that.
And
my wife probably agrees.
Yeah, and it's something where it's not this tame Christian sound in music. It's like we just want to make music. And I think as Christians, we always, you know, we eat our own and we go, oh, you want to become secular? Oh, you're a sellout. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that really does a disservice to some great art.
Yeah, I think it's more that I'm fine with Christians making Christian products. It's this is holy, that is not approach.
Yeah.
Like having that attitude. Marketing it that way, I think, is evil. Like I've seen, you ever seen those? There's like ads that are on like well, you couldn't see them because they're on the radio, but there's ads for like Christian healthcare or whatever. It's and they're like
the
healthcare
programs,
healthcare as God would want it, or something. Like it's really like what? Like I'm not a Christian if I don't get your healthcare or whatever. That kind of stuff bothers me.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? I hear that those programs. I know some people that use those, and they really love it.
Yeah,
because they actually are like writing a check.
That probably worked for some people.
It's this weird sharing thing where like you actually write a check for another Christian's bills that month. Like you don't send a company a $500 check.
Are we advertising for them?
No, I've just heard about it. I don't even know what the name of the company is.
Okay.
But like you don't write a $500 check to the company. You're like, hey, Bob in Minnesota got his knee, and you write Bob a check and you send it to him. Like that's kind of how it works as you're sending. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I like that. I like that concept. But yeah, if you're like using it to like judge people, like, oh, you use.
Yeah, I don't think those work well for us because my wife's type 1 diabetic, so we'd be just getting a check every month from everybody.
Send them in.
Keep it coming.
Come on. Yeah, keep it sending in. But yeah, I didn't necessarily just want to talk about music. I mean, we knock off everything. I remember at the Christian bookstore, we had a PC game section.
Yeah.
And there was this game called Katechumen or Katechumen, however you want to say that.
Okay.
And
the spice.
It was almost an exact real life version of that game on The Simpsons where he's like shooting. They go over to Flanders' house and they play a video game. You want to play Bible Shooter, Bible Blaster, or whatever? And they're like shooting people, and turning them into Christians. It's like, but it was like dead serious.
Dead serious.
You walked around with a Holy Spirit gun, which is a sword of the Spirit, and you blasted these blue beams out. And if you hit a Roman guard, he would like, and you hit him enough times, and he just falls to his knees and goes. And this light comes down from heaven, and he, hallelujah.
Yeah, I love it. It is that.
Hallelujah. I was showing you yesterday. It's like absolutely hilarious.
It looks like satire.
It looks like satire, but it was dead serious. We sold it in the Christian bookstore. They made a sequel to it. I think it was just like, this is bizarre, you know. But I was like always interested in like, I wonder if I could find a good Christian video game. I never did.
I always thought that'd be a cool game where like it's like Grand Theft Auto, but you're in the normal world, and you can put on your demon goggles, and so you can see what else is going on in the spirit world around everybody.
Yeah, like
and you have to fight them.
Like Frank Peretti, this Present Darkness video game or something. Yeah. That would be pretty cool.
I never read it, but yeah, sure.
It's our idea. Patent pending.
Let's do it.
we're going to make it. Redemption cards. I played redemption cards.
Is that like Magic the Gathering?
It was a Christian knockoff of Magic the Gathering. And it was kind of interesting because you actually had to shuffle in like demons into your deck.
Huh.
So you had to build like the good side. Like the whole point was there was souls in the middle.
Talked about this before?
I think we might have. There were souls in the middle of the table, and you had to save the souls before the other guys saved the souls. And so you actually like had a Satan card, and these different demons, and it's like doubt. I played doubt, and now you didn't save him. Ha! It's like, is this really Christian? Like trying to stop people from saving souls? Testaments. Do you remember testaments?
Mints. Testaments.
Testaments.
That's a mint you eat?
At the front of the Christian bookstore, there's like all this Christian candies. And one of them
Christian breath?
Testaments. And I think they were mints that had like a little Bible verse on them.
Does it have the Bible verse about being a pleasing fragrance?
Probably,
yeah. Oh, man.
That's bad.
What about that bread? They got that Ezekiel loaf.
I remember the Ezekiel bread. We got it a couple times growing up.
Does it feel like you're eating something better than...
Like they took the list of ingredients back from Ezekiel or something. And it's
something
like,
in there.
Bible bread right here.
Huh.
But I don't think that was that passage. I don't even remember the passage. Was it prescriptive? Is it telling you must make this bread, or was it just describing something he made? I don't remember.
You can make beef jerky called burnt offering or something like that.
The burnt offering.
The burnt offering.
Meat sacrifice.
A good barbecue place. Is Lord's Gym really a Christian? Is that a Christian thing? Lord's Gym, like Jesus is working
t-shirt.
out.
Yeah. So the gourd was it not Gord's Gym? That was from VeggieTales. Gold's Gym.
Yeah.
Gord's Gym was a joke in VeggieTales. See, this is how far I'm into Christian culture.
Yeah,
I'm thinking it's a parody of a VeggieTales thing, which is actually a parody of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they did a parody of the Gold's Gym shirt, and it was Jesus.
Oh, there's not an actual gym called Lord's Gym. I'm imagining.
No, it's a T-shirt parody.
T-shirt,
and he's doing a push-up with the cross on his back. It says the sin of the world, and he's like lifting up the sin of the world.
I can't remember. I think I may have told this. I got asked to draw like a buff Jesus one time. Did I tell you about that?
Did you do it?
Yeah, because the guy was like, because I was like 10.
Oh.
So I could not draw muscles to save myself. I could barely. It's terrible. Like, oh yeah, lumps go everywhere. And so this guy, when I was on softball team, I very rarely played sports a few times. The coach, who's a bodybuilder, he was actually part of the power team in our area. And he comes up, he goes, hey, we got a local power team. We need like a sweet T-shirt design. What we need is what we need. And he's like, I want Jesus on the cross. And I'm doing 2 peace signs. And then I want him like super ripped. So I tried to draw in my 10-year-old understanding of the human anatomy, Jesus with like, however many abs I gave him. And I just gave him this giant weird
24-pack
checks. Yeah, just hideous looking. And they used it, I guess. Because he was like, I'll pay $20. I'm like, $20. Yeah.
That's more than you make in art now.
But then, they're wearing these shirts and they're ripping phone books in half for the Lord.
I'm Googling old power team shirt to see if we can.
Oh, but it would have been local, just local to Coos Bay, Oregon, which would probably not show up in the first 600
I know, but like
pages.
maybe someone is cleaning out their garage and they're selling it on eBay. I mean, how incredible would that be?
Coos County Power Team. But yeah, that would be amazing if you found it, because I would love to.
Didn't even work. I couldn't even find a regular power team shirt.
Oh.
So let's talk about the power team.
Have you ever seen it?
Ripping up phone books for Jesus. I remember it would come on TBN, or you'd be changing the channel and you'd see these guys ripping phone books for Jesus. Are they still around?
I can't even figure out what they're doing. What's the secular version of that?
Yeah, I guess it's
just bodybuilding.
Just bodybuilding, right?
So that's a lot more fun.
Or kind of like a Harlem Globetrotters type thing. Like you get these guys, athletes, to do these cool stunts or something.
I wonder why we never did like a spiritualized version of monster trucks. It seems like people just kind of accept that monster trucks are already Christian.
Well, we do, because like at the crusades that they do down in Anaheim.
Wait, crusades?
Yeah, well, that's the problem. Let's talk about that later. But yeah, they'll that's how they get everybody into the Harvest Crusade and all that. It's like monster trucks, bikes, and then a sermon. There's a sermon at the end.
But can you call it a monster truck if it's? I don't know if God appreciates monsters.
Angel trucks.
How about? Are there good monsters in the Bible? Can't remember. I think they're all bad. What, behemoth trucks?
Yeah,
that's a little more
Leviathan
trucks.
Something like that.
Yeah, Nephilim trucks.
We're crushing each other for Jesus.
The real question is: are we part of this problem?
Oh, the Babylon Bee.
Yeah, we're just a knockoff of the Onion.
Yeah, that's true. We're almost as good.
Though we don't purport to that you're Christian if you like the Babylon Bee, but you are not if you read the Onion.
That's true.
So that's my main issue. I don't care if Christians have their thing.
And that's kind of why it's weird to me when people are like, Babylon Bee, you shouldn't write politics or just do and just make Christian jokes. Like, isn't that what we make fun of like Christian bands for doing?
Right.
Or, it's like just being in this little Christian ghetto.
Right. Yeah, that's one thing I like about the Babylon Bee is we branch out of that and just do whatever we find funny, and that is kind of unheard of. They want that packaged Christian package. Not from us. You're not getting it.
No, sirree, Bob.
Bucko. Well, would you like to read some hate mail?
Let's do it.
I really miss Adam Ford.
All right, so this is a little complicated, but we sent out.
I don't know if Matt knows how to work the flower bed button.
Matt, do you know how to work the flower bed button?
There might be a little guide there. Can you see the guide? Try pushing a button, see what you get.
Try pushing a button. Just press a button.
Bring our bodies and
Oh, nope.
That's not it.
That's not it. Oh, they're all going at once now. Don't worry about it. We could add it in post. We'll add it in post. We'll do it live. You have to turn the little volume knob next to that the buttons down. It'll go back away. There we go.
We'll do it later.
We'll put it in later. Dan will do it on the floor in pain.
Okay, so this was a response to our newsletter, and occasionally we send like an advertisement to our email list. Mm-hmm. So someone will pay us whatever, and we'll send out this. So I don't remember who it was. We sent this thing that was like, we need to stop Antifa. Some political ad about anti-Antifa, which we're for. We are pro-anti-Antifa. We are pro-anti-Antifa. And so this person was very mad that we sent this email. And it says, "You're a right-wing scumbag.
flower bed.
Off, you Boogaloo skunk.
Favorite part.
Hiding behind a satirical paper in order to infiltrate via email. Your Christo-fascist neo-Nazi dogma." A lot to unpack there. What's a Boogaloo skunk?
Yeah, that was the one thing we were trying to figure out. A Boogaloo skunk.
So we figured out...
That sounds like a band name. The Boogaloo Skunks.
The Boogaloo Skunks. Yeah, it's like a ska band or something.
Yeah, total ska band.
Opening for Five Iron Frenzy.
Skunk's bad.
Boogaloo skunk.
Because you stink people out.
So skunk. Yeah.
Boogaloo is a type of music.
I don't think so.
It is.
Sure.
I looked up.
Well, yeah, but that's not... I don't think that's what they're referring to.
Boogaloo.
But is that what we're going to go with?
If you Google Boogaloo, it's a new far right... Oh, wait. It changed. If yesterday it didn't say that.
Did you say Google Boogaloo?
Google Boogaloo.
If you Google Boogaloo.
Google Boogaloo. It's a fast dance of Afro-American origin performed by couples and characterized by dancing apart and moving the body in short, quick movements to the beat of the music.
Let's try it based on that description.
Is that like one of those that are like... And they come in like that? Yeah.
We kind of had the same idea there.
Yeah,
that was good.
But this other thing says it's a new far-right slang for Civil War. The word boogaloo once represented a fusion of people and cultures. It was both a musical sound and a dance. Now it's favored on the far right as shorthand for an uprising against the government.
Yeah, this was coming about a lot when like Ralph Northam was threatening to take away a lot of the guns in Virginia and stuff. It was like, here comes the boogaloo.
The boogaloo. So there's like some Civil War guy like...
He's
still
waiting
has
for
Confederate flags, and they're all meeting, and they're like, boys, the Boogaloo's coming.
The Boogaloo is on.
That's the word they came up with?
Those would be called Boogaloo Skunks.
Those are the Boogaloo Skunks.
Those are the Boogaloo Skunks.
Okay.
So
maybe they have a band, maybe they have like a bluegrass band called the Boogaloo Skunks.
The Boogaloo Skunks.
I'd probably like them if they weren't so racist. They probably are.
Yeah. On the plantation, they throw this big party, and this big Boogaloo party.
With a big old, yeah.
So before they go...
Acoustic Boogaloo.
Before they go over to the government, the Boogaloo, they have the big party that night, like the big Boogaloo party.
Uh-huh. That's your bluegrass?
That's Boogaloo. It's not bluegrass, it's Boogaloo grass.
Boogaloo grass.
Why don't you Google Boogaloo grass?
That's gotta be real.
Are we ready for this next hate mail? Are we still talking about Boogaloo Skunks?
We're learning a lot.
I don't know what Christo-fascist...
There's no Boogaloo grass.
Sad.
Okay, guys. It's up for grabs. That style of music, it's a whole genre.
Reserve the URL.
Yeah.
Boogaloograss.com.
The far right has ruined it.
It sounds like weed, a kind of weed, though.
Boogaloo grass. Yeah, that could be.
Try this dank.
Got some of that dank boogaloo grass. This is from a friendly sounding guy. His name is
Flowerbed,
but it's spelled out. That's also his email address. Crazy. I just wanted to complain about something The Onion does. It's so much better, unoriginal. But I have to commend you when I get fooled or schooled. You
Flowerbed.
So it's half critical and half we got you. Like, oh, I have to commend you because you fooled me.
I feel like we should branch out from the flower bed and have ones that are specific to the word.
To the cuss
used.
word, yeah. Well, I got Dave to do like dolphin, maybe carrot. I can't remember what else. There's a bunch, but we always, flower bed kind of stuck.
Flower bed's the one that stuck.
And it's funny because Ben Howe came up with flower bed.
Canceled.
He just got canceled.
Yeah.
Which, so.
If he had only flower bedded his tweets.
Yeah, he should have flower bedded those.
They wouldn't have gotten canceled. Poor Ben.
People could just, it's weird because he's from the company that Rick Wilson's with, and Rick Wilson's canceled, and that guy like goes off. But I guess he's on the right side of history. Did you see that picture where
he was sitting by the Confederate flag and saying the South will rise again and all stuff from years ago? And
is that what Ben said?
No.
Rick Wilson.
Rick Wilson. Yeah.
Oh, really? Is he fine?
And he's not canceled. I don't know.
They like him too much.
He's enough anti-Trump.
He's anti-Trump.
Like Ben Howe's like, I don't like Trump, but he's not. He's not as far as Rick Wilson. You need to be all the way on that side. Wait, I don't want to slander him. I want to Google Rick Wilson. Oh yeah, so there was a picture of him with a Confederate flag.
He looks kind of like Mike from Breaking Bad a little bit.
Oh, he had posted pictures to Instagram sitting by a cooler that had the Confederate flag on it and the words "The South will rise again."
Just sitting next to a sticker.
He was like indicted. At a party. He was at a party. Rick Wilson was.
He didn't burn this party down.
And there was like a cooler sitting next to the Confederate flag. "The South will rise again." He's like, "Whoa." Wow. So that would be enough to cancel some other people. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually don't care. I mean, you want to do that, but cancel. Speaking of canceled, you are canceled.
Because this show's over unless you're a subscriber.
And then you're not canceled.
Yeah, because we got some more stuff to talk about.
So on our subscriber portion, we're going to answer some email. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about what it's like being two shy, introverted guys doing a podcast. Mm-hmm. We're going to have a little retrospective, walk down memory lane of the last full year of podcasting for the Babylon Bee. We're going to talk a little bit about what the future holds.
Sounds emotional.
It's
get the Kleenex ready.
It's gonna be the Boogaloo kids.
Gives me the boogaloos.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
The rest of this podcast is in our super exclusive premium subscriber lounge. If you're not a Babylon Bee subscriber, go to babylonbee.com/plans for full-length ad-free podcasts, access to our headline forum, 20% off the items in the Babylon Bee store, a gift, and more. Please drop us a review on iTunes and share the podcast with a friend. Feedback and love mail go to podcast@babylonbee.com. Follow Ethan at AxeCop and Kyle at _Kyle_man on Twitter. Kyle and Ethan would like to thank Seth Dillon for paying the bills, Adam Ford for creating their job, the other writers for tirelessly pitching headlines, the subscribers, and you, the listener. Until next time, this is Dave D'Andrea, the voice of the Babylon Bee, reminding you to go forth and take a ride on an aggravated warthog. You never know, it might be fun.